So welcome to the Tact Talks podcast, a place where some of the most innovative and high growth tech companies in the Northwest are coming on to discuss what they're up to behind the scenes and hopefully impart some wisdom to people looking to pursue a career in tech. I'm joined today by James Renshaw from the Modern Milkman. How you doing, James?
I'm all right. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad at all. Just to kick us off, I guess, to get things rolling, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself?
Yeah. So, James Renshaw, I'm the CTO at the Modern Milkman. Me personally, I have a long background in software engineering. Started as an engineer working for the MOD.
Wow.
Well, I worked on Eurofighters. It was the first project I did, which was a bit mental. Scary doing that straight out of university. It's just 20 odd years ago though. My career I've spent going through this kind of software engineer ranks, various different businesses, the MOD, instead then worked on platforms for Vodafone and BT after that.
Wow.
Moved into team management.
So you started out as an engineer, so hands-on development.
Yes, definitely. Absolutely, yeah. It was great. And actually that initial job at the MOD was a really great one because they didn't really care. They were tech agnostic.
Okay,
so you got to put your fingers in all sorts of different pies there.
Awesome.
That was a really good founding. Then as time's gone on, you end up specialising a bit more.
Sure.
So I ended up more on the Microsoft side. I went through the ranks and then eventually into team leading, and I've gone through dev manager, delivery managers, all those kind of roles. And then 2 years ago, just over 2 years ago, I kind of took a bit of a risk.
Okay.
I left a role at Provident Financial. I went out contracting.
Yes.
But in a consultancy kind of basis, not trying to be a contract software engineer.
Not a mercenary.
A terrible mercenary, obviously. No. I went out braving it, doing consultancy work for effectively small businesses in the Northwest. Did some of that, and as part of that, ended up meeting Simon Mellin, who's the CEO. His future wife, actually, at a business networking event, and got introduced into the Modern Milkman in its fairly early stages. It'd been going, maybe 6 months, 9 months at that point. Wow! So it was pretty early days. So they brought me in because they'd got to that point that they'd solved. Well, they thought they'd solved the problem.
Yes. Yeah.
So. I suppose I'll dive into what the Milkman's doing.
Yeah, sure thing, yeah.
So set back a little bit then. So the Modern Milkman, Simon and 3 other founders set up, all previously been working in the food industry, and Simon especially working, trying to do it ethically.
Yeah.
And they'd been inspired by the Attenborough program, seeing all the plastic waste in the oceans and going, surely there's something we can do, because a lot of this plastic waste you see about is from food.
Of course, yeah.
So they settled on trying to reinvigorate the original Milkman service. If you think about that, back 30, 40 years ago, it was people having glass bottles delivered on the doorstep, and then the following day or a couple of days later, the milkman picking them up and they get reused and they carry on. So it's the whole kind of reusability thing, which is in a way even better than recycling.
Yes.
Because there's no, it's just clean it, reuse it, rather than any energy loss in recycling. So they wanted to try and reinvigorate that. So he braved it. He went out, bought a round, went out delivering himself. So he bought a round in coal. Over the first few weeks, it became quite obvious what the main hurdles are running a traditional milkman service. So people aren't so keen on people knocking on the door asking for cash.
Damn.
Yeah, I know. And people aren't used to leaving little paper notes and shoving it in the top of the bottle to say what they want next time round and all that kind of stuff. So then set about modernising it and got a platform, an app set up, a website set up so customers could place their orders. And I came in at that point where the first version of these apps and things were in place. That had been really successful. And proving the model had grown to more and more rounds at that point, around about something like 3,000 customers or something at that point. But they didn't realise that what was built was built quickly and not really designed for scale. And as a business, we really want to drive our decisions based on good data. So if you ever do a podcast with John Hughes, who's our CIO, he'll evangelize on the value of having the right data. And he's absolutely right. So they brought me in to review what they got and say, how can we get to the next level? How are we going to be able to build this system so we do have the data and information so we understand the customer? And how is it going to scale to become a much larger business? So yeah, I came in, did a bunch of consultancy around that, kind of put forward ideas, and I've kind of ended up spending more and more time working on the Milkman, then helping them to deliver that first project, rebuilding all the APIs and all that kind of thing. So and as the months went on, the amount of hours I was spending working on the Milkman increased until the point that I've put an employee here, really. So that's how I got in.
Yeah.
You see some businesses which have this ethical edge or present an ethical edge.
Sure.
And you're never quite sure what, if people really mean it. And there was one time I was in the office and Simon and the guys were evaluating new products. So we already had a bread product, white loaf, which is in compostable packaging. So it's perfect. Fine. Hit this thing yet. And what looks like a plastic seal, isn't it? I couldn't tell you the technicalities of it, but it's a compostable thing. Exactly. And a manufacturer sent in or a producer had sent in a product in what they were claiming to be also compostable packaging.
Right.
And technically it is.
Okay.
It's something called industrial compostable. So you could present it and sell it legally and everything saying this is compostable packaging, but you and I could not put it in our compost bin. It would not compost.
Oh, wow. How did they get around that?
There are industrial compostable things where you go through special processes to make it compost.
No way. How misleading.
Yeah. So, and it was at that point when they're going, we're not, it don't matter what's inside this packaging right now. The packaging isn't right. And it was like, we're not going to sell it. And I go, so these guys mean it.
Yeah. Willing to lose money.
Yeah, we're willing to not, exactly. So that ethical bit is there. They really do mean it. And so there, and I was in a really fortunate position in which I was contracting a bit.
Yeah.
And I wasn't 100% committed to go, you know what, if this does carry on and grows like it is, this is going to be a fantastic place.
Yes.
And we're going to, and a really mission-led business and we really mean it. And that's how they kind of hooked me in to take on the CTO role as the business develops.
That's incredible.
That's lots of talk.
Yeah, it's brilliant, and I think it's something you could talk about for hours because it's such an incredible business. It really is. And I didn't understand now you put it that way, they've kind of stepped back in terms of gone to the old way of delivering milk and and things like that, but also taking a step forward in terms of putting it on the building an app and making it digital. And so it's weird. It's both ways, taking a bit from the old, taking a bit from the new, and put them together.
Exactly. Well, it's in the name, isn't it? Really?
Yes. Modern Milkman. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we don't tie ourselves just to the milk products. The product range is expanding, so we've got nice big bakery ranges, and we've actually just some new products recently in there as well, and they're great.
Exclusive.
Exclusive. Yeah. But we're also doing things like washing up liquids and that kind of stuff, and they're in glass bottles as well. I mean, returnable. So it's all. Wow. Yeah, the ambition is good. Is large. We want to expand that range. We're not going to try and be Tesco.
No.
We're convenience, effectively, with those products you might nip to your corner shop. That's where the range is going to be going.
And when we first started speaking, you had it was just basically you, wasn't it? When you initially, and you had an offshore team.
Yeah.
So could you tell us how you went from just being you to now a team of, I don't know how many people?
We've got 23, I think, in tech in the UK. There's another 12 or 13, I think, offshore. Wow. And we've got another 11 people signed up and coming in the next month or so.
What's that kind of joining the company?
Yeah. In tech.
Wow. Okay.
So I don't know, I think about February, I'll get the years right now, 2020. So there's just the business was I don't know, about 10 staff.
Okay.
Plus drivers. So our driver community are contracts. So when I talk staff numbers, the driver numbers aren't necessarily included in
Sure.
And I was there part-time contracting and working with 2 offshore teams. There was also a permanent guy called Justin. He'll never forgive him if I don't mention him in it. So he'd been in there even longer. A really great guy. So and that was it. So there was me part-time and Justin and 2 small offshore teams. Pretty much 2 developers in each of those offshore teams. We've grown incredibly since then. We now have 3 offshore teams, so, and that's partly part of the way the tech stack's evolving.
Sure.
And we've started to beef up the whole UK part. So it was I think towards the end of summer last year is when we started bringing extra people into the UK side. So we're if you include offshore, we're over 30 people now in tech. There's over 10 or so coming, and it's not stopping. I have ambitions to. I think we're probably going to be looking at maybe even doubling those kind of numbers again over the next year or less. We'll see how things
look excited but scared.
It's one of those things. It's fantastic. The thing for anybody who's coming into the Milkman right now, yes, we've got what outwardly might look like we've got it all built. Well, what's left to build? You've got an app, you've got a website, and you can something. We've got an app which give our drivers to go out and do deliveries. You've got it sorted.
Yeah.
But what's different about us and maybe some e-com businesses you might see out there is that we own the whole thing.
Okay.
So we're not just a selling platform. We're also a delivery and operations platform because it's all our own drivers, our own network. The way we deliver is unique. We're not DPD. We can't go and ask DPD to do what we do. We deliver overnight. We also collect the empties because fundamental part of that reuse thing. So it's pretty much all custom built. And as a result of that, there's extra things that we now continue to build, like stock systems and all sorts of things. So there's still lots of greenfield in there as a business. We've got ambitions that next year go breaking outside of the UK and maybe North America or Western Europe or wherever first, not quite sure yet. There's so much stuff that we need to be doing. We're trying to get this to a £1 billion company, and at the moment everything's pointing in that direction.
Sure.
So it's growing like crazy, and so anybody who's coming in who's ambitious, talented, has got an amazing opportunity to have a real strong influence on a business in its relatively early days.
Yes.
We're kind of moving from startup to scale up, I suppose, now. And with that, all those kind of things which people might be concerned about being a startup start to being, we're getting more mature.
Yes.
And so, I mean, if I was a software engineer or even a platform engineer or whatever right now, and looking on what Modern Milkman are doing, we've got a great ethics. We've got a really strong business behind it.
Yeah.
We're growing like crazy. And there's still plenty of opportunities to make a big impact on the way we got our way forward. So why wouldn't you?
Yeah, saving the world.
We're just saving the world.
That's the easy way. That's that is incredible. And again, I think more and more nowadays we're finding people in the tech community want to use their superpowers for altruistic and good causes. Mm-hmm. And I think getting rid of plastic is probably one of the biggest, one of the best things you can do. To use your superpowers for good. No, that's amazing. And just one thing I wanted to touch on as well, you yourself kind of coming on board and building this team out. I think you built a team out, yes, which is amazing, but also at the same time whilst getting the numbers up in terms of deliveries out.
Oh yeah.
So how did that happen? Because usually you focus on one and then maybe
because you have to when you're in that stage. It's not easy, and there's a lot of hard work and a lot of hours to make that happen. But you know what? If you feel like it's all for a good cause sounds wrong, doesn't it? Sounds like a charity, but it's because we're our business. But because you believe in what you're doing, it doesn't. It's easy to put the effort in.
Yeah.
And the team we've got right now, we're great. They're all passionate people. They all care and they can see where we're going. So yeah, that growth, yeah, it's a challenge. And so some of it was offshoring is an easier way initially to build up some of the capability that we needed. And also, quite frankly, 18 months ago, money is in a different state, place, and you need to get stuff done. We did scale up a little initially with offshore. And then when we got to a point, so effectively this time last year, it's just over a year actually since we re-platformed and we replaced a whole load of that original system we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
One of those scary days where you do a big migration of, at that point, something like 12, 15,000 customers. We're at about 75,000 customers now.
Oh, God. Wow. Okay.
Ambitions to be over 200, about 200,000 by the end of this year, 400,000 this time next year.
And how are you going to do that? I don't tell too many secrets, obviously, but,
magic. No, so initially it's geographical expansion.
Yeah.
In all honesty. So the business started in the northwest, ran along the M65 and then into Manchester and then over into Yorkshire, into Leeds and places, and now Derby, Nottingham, and we're just growing and expanding new hubs pretty much all the time now. So by the end of the year, we should have coverage from northeast of England down to probably north of London.
Okay.
And then next year, probably is trying to fill in the rest of the UK before then looking at moving on into Europe or North America. So on those numbers, I did a little report a week or two ago, and last month we delivered 2 million items. It's a lot of milk and butter and eggs, isn't it? Yeah, we're not small anymore.
Yeah.
This is a platform that's growing quickly and a business that's growing quickly. And if you now go on, we rebranded the website and apps last weekend. So I'm sure you were all over that on Sunday, Jack. Yeah, it was your Sunday made.
It was. Yeah.
But what we're doing now is also putting front and center on the website. Those numbers going. This is how much plastic we're now saving. We've got all the data to hand. We can really show customers how they're helping contribute.
Yeah.
And as a business, we don't preach. We're not going to go to a customer. We're not going to go out to potential customers and go, "You're really naughty because you buy your milk in Asda and it's in a plastic bottle."
Yeah,
we want to put a business out there which just makes it easier for them to do the right thing. Or do the right thing.
Yes.
It's convenient. And as a business, as a customer, you can be on our app up until 8 o'clock at night and have whatever you've ordered with you by 7:30 in the morning.
Yeah, and it seems like a no-brainer.
So it's convenient.
Yeah,
and it's not it's not expensive. So, and you're equally being able to make a contribution to the environment. So, I mean, what's not to like, really?
I'm going to get signed up. I'm sold. No, and this is why I wanted to have you on the podcast, because it's not only you doing exciting stuff within the engineering teams and things like that, but I think also you are doing something really amazing, and I think if you can do really exciting technical stuff whilst also, contributing to the world and saving the world. Yeah.
And then on the tech bit, we have ambitions beyond, what might look like just normal e-com platforms and whatever else. We want to become really innovative. Mm-hmm. We want to give the teams and the ability to have fresh ideas and put those into the platform and shape our future. We're doing the whole electric vehicle thing right now.
Yeah.
And we really want to think about, what about other tech? What tech can we put in the hands of the drivers or in the vehicles that are going to make their lives easier? Is there some IoT stuff that we can throw in there? Do we want to kit out the drivers with, easy equipment for the proof of deliveries or whatever, take a photo. And the moment you get your DPD man, he gets his phone out and messing about. Can we improve that? Can we make it easier for the driver to deliver? Because the back of a milk van is different. It's quite a different delivery to the back of a DPD van. The DPD van's got this horrible cardboard box, and but it's all there. He dumps the cardboard box. Our guys are picking off the back of the van. So Jack wants his 2 pints of orange juice and 2 pints of semi-skim milk, and he's literally picking those out of the crates and down, which is a slightly different delivery process than a normal delivery driver. So how can we make that easier? Can we do clever stuff in the back of the van to highlight to the driver, these are things you need to pick?
Right.
All sorts of stuff we could potentially do. So we've got pretty... we really want to get innovative in that space.
That's amazing. So you've got a lot to do. So
Still a lot to do.
Anyone who comes to the team's not going to be bored.
No, you won't be bored. That's absolutely... Not only you won't be bored, you should be invigorated and excited about what's coming up.
Sure. Amazing. Look, thanks for coming down. Really appreciate it. I'm excited to see what Modern Milkman are doing in the next 18 months. And yeah, thank you for coming on.
No problem. Thank you very much.